My metric number is 2019250.
Assalamualaikum. Hi, my name is Nurfalina binti Zainuddin. My metric number is 2117814.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nururhana binti Iskandar Mirza. My number metric is 2029594.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Wan Nur Ainat Jani binti Wan Muhammad Jihadi. My metric number is 2010110.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Abdulaziz Shitu. My metric number is 2113917.
Assalamualaikum everyone. Inshallah today I'll be giving you a brief explanation about economics. According to Leo Rubens, economics is a science that studies human behavior and the relationship between end and scarce resources which have alternative uses. Also, scarce means there are limited resources which are available to satisfy unlimited wants of human needs. Also, there are two categories of economics. We have the macro, we have the micro. The micro focuses more on individual. For example, we have the consumer, we have the household. While the macro focuses more on big issues like the GDP of an economy, like the inflation of a country. Also, we have the positive and the normative economy. The positive economy is a branch of economics that concentrates more on evaluation and explanation of economic growth. This type of economics is an economy that depends on facts and data and analysis. Also, we have the normative economy. The normative economy is the type of economy that is fictional. Yeah, the normative economy is a type of economy that is fictional, and this type of economy decide on what should happen and how things should be done. Sometimes the economists try to predict what will happen in the future. Sometimes their prediction can be true, sometimes it can be false.
Now we are going to discuss about economic problems, choices and opportunity costs. Every society is confronted with the economic problems of maximizing the use of limited or scarce resources. The economic problem exists because while people needs and desires are limitless, the resources available to meet these needs and desires are finite. So, limited scarce resources will went into production to fulfill the unlimited want and needs. How the sources are limited? Firstly, the sources are limited in physical quantity, as in the case of land, which has finite quantity. Number 2, the sources are limited in use, as in the case of labor and machinery, which can only be used for one purpose at any one time. In economics, choices and opportunity costs are two essential ideas. Given the scarcity of resources, producers and consumers must choose between competing options. So there are three main economic entities, which are individual, firm and government. Each of these economic entities will face a deficiency. Based on that deficiency, they will make choices, and as a result, they will be facing an opportunity cost. So firstly, individual, they are facing deficiency in terms of lack of income. So they will make choices based on goods that provide the maximum level of satisfaction. So as a result, they will be having an opportunity cost, which is the possible satisfaction of the second best goods that had to be let go. Second, firm. Firm are facing deficiency in terms of lack of factors of production. So they will make choices based on investment projects that provide maximum profit. As a result, the possible profits from the second best output or project that had to be released will be the opportunity cost. And the last one is government. Government have a problem of country's revenue shortage. So they will make choices based on development projects that bring the maximum benefit of society, and the possible virtues of a second best development project that will force to give up will be the opportunity cost. Now, let's talk about budget line. What is budget line in economics? So, in economics, a budget line, or known as budget constraint, represent all the combinations of goods and services that a consumer may purchase given the current prices within his or her given income. So, two basic elements of a budget line are the consumer's purchasing power, or his or her income, and the market value of both of the products. Assumptions of a budget line. First, there are two commodities. The economist assumes that the customers spend their income to purchase only two products. Number two, income of the customers. The income of the customer is limited and it is designated to buy only two products. Number three, market price. The cost of each commodity is known to the customer. And lastly, number four, expense is similar to income. It is assumed that the customer spends and consumes the whole income. Here is the example for budget line. How does it work? So in this table, there are two types of products, which is cream biscuit and plain biscuit. The budget allocation was RM50. So we make combination A, which is 0 cream biscuit and 10 plain biscuit. So the sum up will be 50. It will goes down by increasing the number of cream biscuit. So there will be less plain biscuit. But the total budget allocation will be 50 ringgit. But if there was another combination, for example 6 cream biscuit, then at that point the budget allocation was not enough, because if we buy 6 cream biscuit, then that will be RM60 ringgit. So up until 0.5 is the possible budget line that we can use our income to buy the products. There are 4 main economic resources, which are land, capital, labor, and entrepreneurship. All of these resources are limited and scarce.
One of the most popular economic model is the PPM. This PPM represents the three concepts, which are scarcity, choice, and opportunity cost in a diagram. The diagram or graph recorded in the production possibility model is called the PPC. Here is the definition. Now, as with other economic model, we have assumption. If you notice, most of assumptions are already stated in the definition of the PPC. Number 1, we assume the full employment. What it means is the economy is operating in full employment and at full production capacity. Full employment simply means all resources are being used, whereas food production capacity means production at the economy is at its optimal level using the most efficient resources or technology. Second assumption is mentioned in the definition. We assume that resources are fixed. Likewise, we also assume technology is fixed. We also assume there are only two goods involved. And finally, we assume that the economy has no international trading happening. C also show the movement from one point to another. On the PPC, show the concept of opportunity cost, meaning that if you want to produce more of product A, you have to forego or sacrifice some of the product B. Same goes to if you want to produce more of product B, you have to forego or sacrifice some of the product A. This basically implicates the shape of the PPC depend on the opportunity cost. As a result, the shape of the PPC is concave and turned up from the origin. Basically, the slope is coefficient, or in other words, as we more along or more down, the PPC of our slope get bigger and bigger. It means it increasing or it follow the law of increasing opportunity cost, which means as we want to produce one more unit of something, we used to forego more and more of the other units. This explains why our PPC is concave shape. You might wonder why. It is because the resources are not completely adaptable to alternative uses simply as the worker who produce but they're not familiar in produce computer. So if you want to produce more and more computer, you cannot expect the similar or same number of workers from bytes to make computer. In fact, we may need to use more and more resources from byte to make the computer because they just don't have the skill or experience, so we need to train them. Next up, can PPC shift over time? The answer is yes. When there is economic growth, this is the ability of an economy to produce greater level of output, represented by an outward shift of its PPC. So this is basically the reason or the factors that will influence economic growth for the particular country.
Right, I will tell you about concept scarcity, choice and opportunity cost on production possibility curve, as known as PPC. The concept of scarcity, choice and opportunity cost can be explained by using PPC. You guys can relate the graph or curve that I provide for your better understanding. The first one is scarcity. Did you know the scarcity is? Scarcity is defined as unlimited wants always exceed unlimited resources. Scarcity can be shown by the point outside PPC, point Z. You can look at the curve. But what is the meaning of point Z? Point Z is unattainable and scarcity due to limited resources. So there are not enough resources to produce point Z. The second one is choice. We have faced choice in everyday life. In microeconomics, choice is made when there is problem of scarcity. Choice is shown by a point along PPC, which are point A, B, C, D, E, and F. However, we have to choose the attainable point. What is the attainable point? The attainable point in the curve is A, B, C, D, E, with reflect efficient combination because full employment or full capacity. The last one is opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is defined as the best second alternative that has to be foregone for another choice which give more satisfaction. You can look at the graph back. The opportunity cost can shown by the movement along PPC, which are movement from A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, and E to F. Alright, I will give you an example. If we move from point A to B, it means that we can increase 1,000 more unit of Nike, and we have to forgo 1,000 unit of Adidas. Alright, we're moving on the calculation of opportunity cost. Opportunity cost can obtained by using formula opportunity cost equal to the number of goods another foregone. You can also look at the more specific formula below. At the last part, I will continue and tell you about opportunity cost per unit formula. We have to know that opportunity cost per unit can be obtained by using formula opportunity cost per unit of Nike equal to number of Adidas foregone divided by number of Nike increase. The same formula with unit of Adidas. The opportunity cost per unit of Adidas equal to number of Nike foregone divided by number of Adidas increase.
Now we know the meaning of opportunity cost on PPC. So what curves the shift going to the right and left? Let's start. Shift in the PPC occurs by things that change the output of economy, including advances in technology, changes in resources, more education, and changes in labor force. Shift in the PPC can be divided into two, which are rightward shift and leftward shift. First, rightward shift of PPC can occur when there is advancement of technology and growth of resources of both the goods. For example, in 2015, there's a certain number of tomato and bottle sauce that we could be produced, but now we can produce way more than we did before that. Point right there was once impossible is now possible. This is because we have new and better resources and because we have better technology. Next is leftward shift of PPC. This occurs when there is degradation of technology and decrease of resources of both the goods. Then PPC will shift to the left. One of the factors is destruction of power plant, meaning that we have less resources and that will cause a PPC to shift leftward. For example, that happened to Japan when there was the earthquake and the tsunami because the resources were destroyed and fall in population. Now we move to the next topic, which is shape of production possibility curve. PPC can be represented in three shapes. Number 1, PPC is concave. Here it looks like it's bowed out from the origin. As you can see, this is describing an increasing opportunity cost. For the next shape is PPC convex, and it looks like it's bowed into the origin. Or we can say that this shape is decreasing of opportunity cost. This means that in order to get one more unit of good, less unit of another good would have to be sacrificed. Last but not least, PPC linear or a constant opportunity cost, and it looks like a straight line. This means that in order to get one more unit of good, the same units of another good would have to be sacrificed.
That's all from us. I hope you enjoy watching the video.